Hey everyone, so this is a short lesson. We're talking about inventory counting. Really, when the key question to this is how do we know what we have in a back room, in a storage room, on our sales floor? And why do we sometimes run out of our best-selling items? Well, it all comes partially down to counting inventory, and counting inventory isn't just a chore. It's a superpower that helps us run a smarter and more profitable store or business. It helps us make sure that we have what our customers want. So let's get into this just a little bit. So essentially, with inventory, there are three rules to counting. Okay, they're really pretty easy. These rules focus on optimizing our inventory levels to ensure that we have the right amount of stock on hand to meet demand. So again, it is about optimizing inventory so we have the right amount of stock. Okay, so first rule is that we have to be prepared. Be prepared. Organize everything. Okay. Before we count, we want to make sure that our store, our retail space, our wherever we have stock on hand, we want to make sure that it is all tidy. All items are in designated specific spots so they are easy to find. We also want to create a cutoff. Okay, there at some point, if you're in a retail store, or you're in a store of some kind or whatever, you want to set a specific time to stop all sales, stop all deliveries. This makes sure that our count is accurate. And really, there cannot be any exceptions to this. You have to put a stop to it. That's why a lot of retail stores do their inventories overnight after the store is closed. Next thing is you've got to count smart. Okay, team up. If you have two people working together and working as partners, then one person can count while the other one records the number. And really, when it comes down to it, two sets of eyes are really better than one. And of course, you want to make sure that you go in order. You want to start at one corner, work your way through every shelf, every box, every every fixture, whatever. You don't want to skip around. Hopefully everything is nice and neat and organized in such a way that there's kind of a pattern, a flow that you can go through as you are counting. Going in order and keeping things and not skipping around helps keeps you from counting something twice or missing it entirely. One of the rules that I always learned when I was counting inventory is you kind of think left to right, top to bottom. Okay, so if you're looking at a shelf or a wall of some kind, start at your top left, work your way across to the right, and then go to the next row and move on and move on and move on. So again, left to right, top to bottom. Okay, something to remember. Next in this is, of course, you've got to double check everything. Um, and it's to do that, you have to reconcile your numbers. You have to look at what you actually counted versus what your previous paperwork, what your books say that you have. This is really an important step. You compare those two counts to see what your records say versus what you actually counted. And if there's a difference, you need to figure out why. So then, of course, the last thing is you want to update those records and make sure that everything is then correct. If you have a discrepancy where what you thought you had is different from what you actually have, then you correct that in your system somehow. You update it. It gives you a new, accurate starting point for your inventory. Now, when it comes down to inventory, there's really kind of two ways to count. One way is a full count. A full count. It's a periodic inventory. This is where you count every single item in the store on a specific day, maybe like the end of the month, maybe the first of the month, maybe it's the 15th of the month, whatever, as long as it is on a specific day at a specific time. Now, the pros to this is it really gives you a complete big picture view of your entire inventory, of everything you have in your warehouse space, in your retail store, in your storage, whatever it happens to be. The cons, however, is that it can take a while and you might have to close the store. As I mentioned, sometimes retail stores will do their inventory counts overnight when the store is closed. Another way to count is by doing spot checks. This is also called cycle counting. So instead of counting everything in the store, you count just a small, specific group of items every day or every week. Sometimes restaurants will do counts like these spot checks where they're only counting maybe their most expensive, their most costliest items every single night before they or after they close. The pros of this, of course, is that it is faster, it's less disruptive to the store, and you can catch mistakes or problems very quickly. You can see the difference, see those differences quicker. But the con is that you really don't get a full picture of the entire store at one time. So you have to decide sometimes, how are you going to do it? Are you going to do the full count, or are you going to do a spot check? Sometimes you can do both, actually. So you may do a full count like this, maybe once a year if you're in a retail store, but you do spot checks on things every month or something like that. So you can use both methods to help keep your inventory in line. So why does all this matter, right? Well, really, when it comes down to it, when you've got when you count your inventory, it helps you to solve problems. You can be problem solvers when you're counting your inventory. It helps you solve those mysteries. Why do we only have 5 of this particular item when we're supposed to have 7? What happened to those other 2? So that's when you investigate, you solve that mystery. You know, it's like, did you misplace anything? Was an item damaged? Did you have to throw it away because it was broken? Okay, those are the things that can possibly come from when you're working on solving that mystery. It also helps you make smart business decisions. When you know exactly what you have, you can make those smart business decisions. You can order more of your best-selling items and less of the things that don't sell well. And also, when it comes to inventory, these are real world skills. This is not something that inventory is something really that you can use in every successful business, as long as you have those, as long as you have if you have some kind of product that you are making, that you are selling, having the skill to count your inventory to make sure that you're accurate. It works from local shops to global corporations, your mom and pop shops to big companies like Amazon and Apple. So inventory really is an important thing when you are in a business, especially if you have a physical product of some kind. And really, so that is our very brief lesson on inventory counting, the introduction to it, some tips, the three rules, and the 2 ways to count your inventory.